What's up? Welcome into your daily Buckeye Blitz False. Gotcha, didn't I? Welcome to your Buckeye Rush Hour for a Monday, August 7th, 2023. Just keeping you guys on your toes. See how many people fell for that one. All right, so if you checked out today's title, we're talking recruiting. We talked a little bit of it last night on the TBC Weekly Show with Jeff and Sean. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail today, talk about in-season recruiting. And because I know we have these frustrations right now, right, with recruiting, missing out on guys, NIL playing a huge factor in these misses, mostly on the defensive side of the ball. You got, the edge rushers we missed on, and of course KJ Bolden, the safety, we just missed on Saturday. So I'm going to try and lay out in-season commitments, and by in-season I consider right now in season, because coaches are in camp practicing every day. It's rare that they have a day off, if ever. In the month of August, you're trying to get ready for a season. This is when a lot of your development, your practice, your install of your playbook and things like that gets honed down. And so coaches really hate doing in-season recruiting, but it's become a necessity because you got this mid-December commitment signing day, So the reason coaches hate this recruiting in season is because it happens over the weekend. Obviously, games are Saturdays. Kids have school during the week, so they have to fly in Friday night, Saturday morning, whatever, try and get to the game, because you want them to see the game atmosphere, what it's like in the shoe, of course. But then the coaches have, obviously, they're coaching the game. They don't have a ton of free time after the game, especially if it's a 3:30 or something like that, or a night game. Forget it. Then Sunday, the kids usually, probably hungover from going out with the players and stuff. But anyways, the coaches don't have a lot of time on Sunday, to spend with the players. So the coaches don't like it because they can't really build that relationship in person. And if it's somebody that hasn't been on campus before, or maybe it's been 6 months or a year since that player's been on campus, you're trying to get this kid, to commit, or at least, think about the Buckeyes as a serious option in a few hours' time. It's just, it's not good for recruiting. So that's why the coaches really don't like it. And again, they're trying to get ready for the next game, so that's the main issue with in-season recruiting. But it is a necessary evil because of the way the recruiting calendar is set up right now. But I ran through the last 3 seasons of commitments from 21, 22, and 23, and I wanted to give you a list. It's very interesting to me that we've had exactly 5 in-season commitments, and I include December because that's like the first signing period. 5 in-season commitments per class, starting in 2021. You had Emeka Egbuka commit in December 11th, Reed Carrico, September 10th, Tyleek Williams, August 27th, Marvin Harrison, October 31st, Zen Mahalski, October 3rd. 5 guys. 2022, you had Sonny Styles commit on November 13th, Devin Brown, December 1st, Kenyatta Jackson, October 19th, Bennett Christian, September 1st, Avery Henry, October 20th. Then in last season's class, 2023 class, Caden McDonald committed October 31st. Lincoln Keenholz, December 14th, very late. Joshua Mickens, December 21st. Arvell Reese, August 6th, and Jaden Bonsu, August 14th. So you heard a couple there that were in August, but still they had to be, on campus and stuff. So 5 per class over the last 3 seasons. So judging by that, you can expect maybe 5 in this upcoming, fall class kind of. if we divide up the 24 class into like seasons. So 5 guys. We only have 7 defensive commits. So are they all going to be defensive commitments? I kind of doubt it, because you got a wide receiver, Jeremiah McClellan. Latest on him, I got some intel today that Jeremiah McClellan has, right now, the intel says OSU is in the lead over Missouri and Oregon. Now, remember, I mentioned this last night on the TVC Weekly show, that Missouri's state law says that the NIL money can be paid up front to these kids. So they don't have to, like Ohio State, for example, they have the players go out to a charitable event, sign autographs or whatever, and they get paid. And obviously it's the players that are already on the team. Jeremiah McClellan I assume he has to enroll first, but he can get all of that NIL money up front. So you got to remember that when you're talking about guys from Missouri. There's also DN William Waneri. He's a 5-star. Buckeyes aren't even in on him. But so you got to keep that in mind when we're talking about the average of getting 5 commitments during the season, but let's focus on the defense here while we're talking about in-season commitments. So right now we got the one safety and DN, edge rusher, whatever, are the high priority right now. Got Jalen McLean in the class. He's 6 foot, 185, out of Seton Hall Prep in West Orange, New Jersey. He's a 4-star, 9109, number 261 in the class, number 23 safety. He's a multi-sport athlete, also ran track. His personal best of 1106, 100 meters, and a 2277, 200 meters are impressive. He started as a junior for the football team, made 83 tackles. That's a lot. Kid makes some tackles and an interception. In 2021, he started as a sophomore, made 71 tackles, had a pick. So he's got the length and frame to play like 195. So he'll probably put on some weight and probably tighten up. But he offers versatility. We've been saying this a lot when we talk about defensive recruiting and players coming into Ohio State. Versatility seems to be the recurring word I hear. So he could play corner, safety, or nickel. So keep that in mind. He takes snaps on both sides of the ball, so plays offense and defense for his high school team. He's a fluid athlete, got loose hips, so he can turn and run with the receiver, change direction easily. So really like Jalen McLean. He reminds me kind of like a Jaden Bonsu, maybe not quite as big, but he's not afraid to hit you, and he can play multiple positions in the safety room. So really like him. We know KJ Bolden committed to Florida State. Don't need to rehash that. But then we got a couple other safeties here I wanted to mention. So the trick is getting these 2 safeties on campus in season, and then making that flip or that commitment. You got Zaquan Patterson from Chaminade Madonna Prep down in South Florida, former teammates with Kenyatta Jackson, the corner Ryan Turner, and of course Jeremiah Smith, the 2024 receiver. Patterson's made multiple visits, unofficial, hasn't made an official to Ohio State yet, so he's got to lock that in for the season. He has said, he has been quoted as saying he's going to schedule an official visit to Ohio State. So let's see if he keeps his word and actually does that. Now, this other safety, he's kind of a big deal. He's a former Georgia commit, Jalen Hayward, out of Rockledge, Florida. It's over on the East Coast, like around Daytona area, if you know your Florida geography. Excuse me. Jalen is 5'11 and a half, weighs 180 pounds. He's a high 4-star, a 9'5", 9'3", nationally ranked number 79 player in the country, number 5 safety in the country, and number 11 player in the state of Florida. So his story is he committed to Georgia on January 13th. So over 6-7 months ago, then just decommitted from Georgia back in July. So I really like his tape. His scouting report talks about him being a track athlete as well. Two-way player, played running back, receiver, and corner. Return man, he did it all for his team. Even was a punt gunner. Jeez, last year he had 44 tackles, 8 PBUs, 3 forced fumbles, 2 picks. Then on offense, he had 350 yards and 2 touchdowns as a ball carrier. So the guy did it all for his team. In 2021, he got snaps. He racked up 35 tackles and 6 PBUs, 3 picks as a sophomore. So kid does it all. He's with that track time, that track background, he's going to be one of the faster players, right? He's got a big upper body, muscular, going to hit you. He's played 2 years as a cornerback in a 4-3 defense, but was asked to play a lot of bump and run on the outside. So another guy that's going to get up, play that press man. Excuse me, miss. I almost knocked over the microphone. So, oh yeah, his track speed, 10.9, 100 meters. That's decent, right? So really impressed with Jalen Hayward. Let's see what we can do to get him on campus. He said he's interested in making a visit. He's another one. Both him and Patterson have said they're interested in visiting Ohio State, but have not booked anything yet. As far as Hayward's visits go, he's taken 6 to UCF, 5 to Miami. Both of those included on official visits. He's taken 6 to Florida, so heavily focused on the Florida schools. Then 4 to Florida State, but nowhere else really. He's taken a couple unofficials, 1 to USC, 1 to Auburn, 1 Bama, 1 LSU. Just 2 visits to Georgia. So we'll see if we can get him on campus. It really would be huge to get him or Patterson or both on campus because we need 3 to 4 safeties in this class. We got 1. So we need everybody visiting that we can possibly get on a plane. So let's talk some D-line. We know we got the 5-star D lineman, Edric Houston, committing August 22nd. So it's only about 2 weeks away, just over. Again, he's a Bama lean as of right now. Let's see what happens. This is not an NIL entirely focused recruitment. So I don't want you guys to think that we just have to throw bags at him. That's not necessarily the case. So let's hold tight on that. Hopefully we can get Houston back in the fold. Now let's talk about this D lineman. I've gotten some questions about him, and I'm not 100% sold on him, mainly because he hasn't really been to Columbus, and that is Ernest Willer. Sorry, he has been to campus once back in 2021. It's been over 2 years since he's been to Columbus. So he's 6'4", 250, so good size. He's from Concordia Prep in Towson, Maryland. But he transferred to IMG for his junior year of football and will play there again this year. He's a high 4-star, 9'5", 9'2", nationally ranked 80th player in his class, number 11 D lineman, number 2 player in Maryland. As far as his visits go, he's taken 2 to Penn State. They're the leader in the clubhouse, but no officials. He's taken 1 visit to Maryland, Rutgers, Ohio State, Va-Tech, Miami, and Florida. So no officials still. So can we get him on campus? Does he want to stay close to home? I mean, Columbus isn't too far from Maryland. So can you get the kid out of, away from mom's cooking? We'll see. The other D lineman, I call him an edge / he's really being recruited as a jack, is Booker Pickett Jr. We've talked about him a bit, but I wanted to reiterate him because he's another one that said he wants to get to Ohio State and visit during the fall. He's 6'3", 205 right now. He goes to Wharton High School over in Tampa. He's a 4-star, 9.253, nationally ranked 190 in the class, and number 13 edge guy. So let's see if we can get him on campus. Again, he's a legacy. Uncle was Ryan Pickett, a D lineman. Dad played at Miami, though, so you got to contend with that. And he's got a couple brothers younger than him that are studs. One's a corner, I believe, and the other one's a 5-star safety in the 25 class, DJ. So keep Booker in your thoughts. Now, just on the offensive side of the ball, I wanted to update where we're at there. The 5-star old lineman Brandon Baker from Mater Dei out in California, looking like an in-season decision, or maybe all the way up to the December signing period. He's scheduled a visit in September to Nebraska, so it looks like he's going to continue taking officials through the season. So hopefully, maybe we can get him back on campus for an unofficial. He already took an official in June to Columbus. So Brandon Baker, really need him. But now, if we don't get him, there is the 4-star tackle Jordan Seaton. Could be back in the mix. He's 6'5", 287. He goes to high school at IMG and is from Washington, D.C. He is a high 4-star, a 9.801, number 39 player in the class, number 1 interior O lineman. So they have him rated as a guard. I'm pretty sure the Buckeyes are recruiting him as a tackle, though. He's got good height, 6'5". So his recruiting, or his scouting report is really good for a big man. They say he can play early at a top 20 program and could be an early NFL draft pick. He could play guard or tackle at the college level. He plays left tackle right now in high school. And he's really strong against strong competition. Obviously, IMG plays high-end, high-level high schools around the country. So he's strong, got quick feet for a big man, and gets into the gap quickly. Excellent body control, and can target linebackers in space, lock them up. He's got good lower body strength too that he uses to get to the second level, and his athleticism, get out. He can lead on screens and has a nice kick step and pass pro and a strong initial punch with accurate hand placement. So seems like a well-developed player so far, but obviously can sharpen his skills at the Ohio State. So looks like Jordan Seaton and Justin Fry have kind of mended fences. I don't know what happened, but months ago they kind of fell out of favor. Maybe somebody didn't return a message or a call. Somebody maybe thought the other one wasn't interested in them, but it looks like we have rekindled our love for each other. I don't know. But all right, let's check the chat, see what's going on a Monday. What's up, everybody? Billy Tuesday, first in the door. Oh, I didn't give you guys a question today. Let's say, what's your highest priority? You want a 5-star safety or a 5-star D end edge rusher? All right. Pariah Docs, cool name. All right. If we miss on Edric, welcome in, by the way. If we miss on Edric and Baker, then bombs. Yeah, explosions. Yes. Can't trust intel on commits anymore. I understand you're jaded, Billy, and I'm not here to tell you how to feel or who to trust, but all we can go on is what we're told, right? Is it better to hear nothing? I don't know. Pariah Docs. Should our insiders have known Bolden was an FSU lean childhood favorite? I guess he was 8 when famous Jameis and FSU won the Natty. So I suppose it's true. Yeah, it is kind of funny that his childhood favorite school hasn't done shit since he was 7 or 8 years old, right? I mean, I don't get it. Whatever. Paradox, Houston and Baker, yes. We do need them. Both. And Stewart, Paradox, was relationships the difference? Someone said it wasn't NIL. Losing to South Carolina and FSU, seriously. Consolation, at least they didn't go to Bama or UGA. That is the surprising part, and that's a good point. Yeah, you can, as a Buckeye fan, you can accept losing a recruit to Bama or Georgia, but when you lose them to fucking Florida State, South Carolina, and Miami, that's too much. That's too freaking much for me to handle. My little brain cannot accept this. But excellent point. For Stewart, supposedly, I heard rumors that his high school coach, went to South Carolina, and that's why there's another player that is headed to South Carolina, I think from last year's class, maybe it's next year, I forget, but I'll get back to you on that. But yeah, I think it was more relationship than NIL for Dylan Stewart. And that's a good point made by you, Pariah Docs, that every recruitment is different for the most part. You can't blanket statement, all recruits. Billy says, I can get losing out to FSU. They're on the rise, but SC, yeah. Paradox, FSU will trip over themselves again this season. Then again, it is the ACC for how much longer? Yeah, who knows? Paradox says FSU and Clemmy to SEC. ACC is a dead man walking. Yeah, if FSU is serious about using Saudi money or this private equity using Chase Bank to get out of their grant and rights with the ESPN deal, the TV deal, then yeah, I think they're both gone. Because if FSU is going to do it, then everybody's just going to follow suit, right? Everybody's just going to get their own private equity or gather their own cash somehow, and they'll sign anything apparently just to get the money to get the hell out. So Paradox says FSU to SEC, and they will be the 6-8 best team. Yeah, they will. And they'd be lucky to win 6 games a year. Billy says Pitt in Florida. Not sure I see that. FSU will have at least 3 losses again this season, says Paradox. Clemmy, I like you call him Clemmy. I've never heard anybody call Clemson that. But Clemmy, Pitt, and Florida. Paradox, I hear you. Having number 1 class doesn't really matter. Bolden was the less likely, but we had need for the DN, right? Paradox is at Pitt and Florida. We are talking FSU still here. Still, they lost to Wake and NC State last year. Yeah, but they did win 10 games. I agree that they're not going to beat Clemson. I don't see that ever happening, and they could struggle with the Canes, and NC State. So Paradox says, I don't think the 90s and Bobby Bowden are coming back for FSU, and we know who Jimbo is now. Yeah, excellent point. We do know Jimbo. Billy says, Graham Merce, likely the Florida QB. Can't see that going well. No. Yeah, Jack Miller is still at Florida, I believe. Yeah, you got it right. Paradox, I'm still not a believer in Clemmy, but some had them number 2 preseason. Yeah, well, they brought in the new OC, Lincoln Riley's little brother. He's supposed to be good. We'll see. But at least they got rid of the garbage OC they had. Odysseus says 5-star edge every day. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Paradox still in the trenches and at the skill positions. They or FSU could sneak into the playoff, but their non-con games don't look good to help them. That's true. Billy says edge always in the safety versus edge conversation. Paradox says Notre Dame and Florida, I suppose, could boost their resumes, but I think one or the other might need to go undefeated to get in. Yeah, definitely. and Florida does have #1 strength of schedule. They have the hardest schedule in the country, according to Phil Steele. So they would have earned it if they go even 10 wins, man. It's going to be a rough year, though, I think. Odysseus says, if true, we should have spent more time recruiting the next best safeties on the board. Billy says, I think Hartman is overrated, but he's looked at as a savior in South Bend. Yeah, I know. It's great they got that quarterback, Sam Hartman, who transferred, but who's he going to throw to? I can't name one freaking Notre Dame wide receiver. Can't do it. Or running back. Billy says another reason to hate FSU. we need more, right? Jeremiah, what's up, Jeremiah? Any recruits that would choose any other school other than Ohio State, that's on them, and that's their loss. Good luck winning anything at any other school. I agree. It's a legit point. Again, you're going to see some of these kids hop in the portal, like we saw with Texas A&M's class of 22. That huge monster, all-time great class, right? That was all paid for. Remember, Saban got in Jimbo's ass about it, even though it was legal, legit. You know, you can pay kids, but you got to keep them. You got to fucking keep them, man. And now half of those 5 stars are in the portal or out of the portal, you know. Temper, what's up, man? Appreciate you joining us. Temper says Miami has an easy schedule. Odysseus says they don't have Dave Clawson's offense in South Bend either. Dave Clawson, forgot about him, man. How about Charlie Weiss? Yeah, craziness. So Billy says, can Hartman exist outside the slow mesh? I don't think so. I don't think so. You got to get some receivers in there. You know, you're going to get your quarterback just throwing off his back foot every play if you guys can't get guys open, you know, or he's going to be running for his life. Either or both. So, yeah. So we got to get these in-season recruits, man. It's hard work for the coaches. I know they hate it. You know, like I touched on at the beginning of today's episode, they're going to have to get these kids on campus. And I hope we can get more than 5. I know our average has been 5 per season over the last 3 years, like I laid out. So can we get 6, 7, you know? If we get 2 offensive recruits, then that means, according to our average, we're only going to get 3 more defensive players. That's not great. So it'd be like a 14-man offensive class and a 10-man defensive class. Yeah, we need more defense than that. So, yeah, I hope you guys are starting the week off right, starting it off easy. Ooze your way into the week. Let me know if you got any topic suggestions. You can hit me in the comments or whatever. You can email me, joe@thebuckeyecast.com. Don't forget to like the video. I would really appreciate it. It is free of charge. And yeah, hit thebuckeyecast.com. Don't forget about that. That's a real thing. Odysseus out the door says, need to get Pickett in Houston. We do. Yep, those would be huge. Would be nice to get a 4th. You know, we need 3 to 4 on these safety and D-line recruits. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see who we put out offers to. Like, is there somebody that will blow up in, like, say, the first few games of their senior year, you know, a safety, a D-lineman, an edge, you know, that Coach Johnson sees some tape and is like, oh, we gotta offer this kid and get him in for a visit, you know. So we'll see if somebody pops. Keep it locked in here. We'll keep you posted, and we'll talk about it. But appreciate everybody. Please don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the bell, the drill. Talk to you later. Go Bucks.